Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Ryan here. This is episode number 3 of Shoulder Mobility Week. Someone asked a question. It was about what's the difference between foam rolling and stretching, if you can make the distinguishing factor. And the main thing to consider when you think about what foam rolling does, or smashing, what Starret calls, or soft tissue work, is simple, or self-myofascial work, and in ASM we say self-myofascial release, SMFR, is what you're doing is you're breaking up tissue to restore sliding surfaces to the fascia, the muscle tissue. Think of it like this. It's like a knot. Like think of a rope, right? A rope is like it's a rope, right? And you tie a knot in it. Now if you stretch the rope, think of it as a rope as a piece of muscle, right? If you pull the rope apart, it's going to stretch, right? And kind of ideally with muscle, you're trying to make it longer because it's short. We're trying to restore it to proper length. Now when what foam rolling does is think of it as a piece of rope that has a knot in it. Now I understand that this is not exactly a perfect analogy, but what happens is when you get muscular adhesions, tightness in muscles because of muscular adhesions, that creates knots. And just because you stretch it, like say using a band to stretch your lats or triceps or whatnot, all that's really doing is it's basically moving the knot. It's not really improving those knots. It might improve the position of those knots, but it doesn't allow the muscle to move the way it's supposed to. I mean, it makes it move better, don't get me wrong. So for some people need to do more foam rolling or more soft tissue work than they need to do mobility work. And then some people need to do more mobility work, or I should say more stretching, than they need to do soft tissue work. So I guess you could just say mobility is a combination of stretching and soft tissue work. So keep those in mind. Now the only other thing that's not out of there that Starret talks about is muscle distraction or joint distraction when you're trying to put the joint in a better position. So today's basic homework is improving shoulder blade retraction and depression. Everything that we do is essentially trying to do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a systems approach and really put ourselves into that position. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a band. Now if you don't have a band, you can use a PVC pipe. Someone actually suggested that you use a broomstick, which is actually a really great idea if you don't have a PVC pipe handy. But again, you're going to spend 2 minutes. All you're going to do is you're going to get the band, and you're going to either hold like it is a PVC pipe, and you're going to pull it behind your back like this, and you're going to hold it. And what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze those shoulder blades together nice and tight, just like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to watch some TV, or you can watch a YouTube video, and you're going to hold this for 2 minutes. Now, you want to be active in this position, which means you're not just going to hold and hang out here and do nothing. What you're going to do is you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, pull your shoulder blades down, and be active about pulling them together. Now, you don't have to pull like super tight, but you're trying to pull everything back. Now, keep in mind that if you feel tingling sensation in your fingertips, which can happen in this position, I would recommend that you stop or take a break and then go back into position. And all you're doing is you're trying to do 2 things. You are stretching your chest, your pec major, and mostly your major, a little bit of your minor maybe, depends on how well you can retract your shoulder blades. But you're also stretching your bicep. You got to understand that one of the things about the shoulder mobility is that the bicep attaches to underneath the acromion process of the scapula, where the clavicle and the scapula meet. And to both of the bicep, tendons cross underneath there. Actually, one of them shares a tendon or a ligament attachment. I forgot what it is. I'll show it in the video. But keep in mind, that's actually a big factor in how the shoulder moves. So putting your hand above your head, think about that. If your chest is tight, your bicep is tight, your lat is tight, do you think the reason why people can't get their hand above their head is because their chest is tight, their pec major, or maybe is it their pec minor? Is it the bicep? Is it the lat? Is it the long end of the tricep? Is it the serratus anterior not able to activate the way it's supposed to? Who knows? It's probably all of it, but what we're doing today is we're just taking a daily homework piece and really just trying to emphasize moving in some sort of position. In this case, just holding out and squeezing your shoulder blades together and stretching out your chest. So, get the band, hold out and stretch. Another variation of this that I like is I'll just tie a knot in here, which I've made in another video before, is this you can't really do with a PVC pipe. And you'll push it out like this, and then just hold this out. And what you're doing is you're just squeezing your shoulder blades together. This one's actually not quite as much of a stretch. It's really more of like a joint distraction because you're driving your humerus into your sockets and you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, kind of allowing for a better positioning of the scapula and the humeral head. But then again, you pick what's appropriate for you, spend 2 minutes in that position. And of course, the 2 things I think for you, or for me that I'm doing every single day, is mashing my pec minor, really smashing on this thing. Now sometimes if you really think about it, I don't have a ball in front of me right now, but you take your fingers like this and you just press right in there. Get your hand on top of it and see if you can kind of dig right in there, right underneath that, just in that section right there, right below, right between your armpit is. And you can kind of feel, and you'll feel some muscle there. You'll definitely feel some tenderness if you bench enough. Same thing on the other side. And one side might be more tender than the other. And that could be your soft tissue work there. Maybe spend 2 minutes there. You know, it might not be a lot. The ball's probably more effective. But hey, if this is all you got, spend 2 minutes on each side. I'm doing this every single day. Why is that? Because the moment I roll this out, boom, my hands go above my head. Or there's less restriction. Right now, one of the issues I'm having is for the neck and this kind of first rib here, which I'm going to make a video on tomorrow. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.